my tour of the galaxy. So we are in Hawking's Gap. So that is the sector of the galaxy next to Sol, where Earth is. And let's have a look at the map here. Right, so we are somewhere around here. I set off yesterday from the space station here, and we are following or going right the way along the full length of Hawking's Gap. First stop will be this fleet carrier, which I'm not quite sure how far away that is. My current target is what is classified as a archived point of interest. So if we look at the galaxy map here, so this is the live data. Now these have only just appeared on the list. Archived POIs. Right, so yeah, so we've come from here and we are actually heading to this POI here. Right, so I don't know why that is archived. I don't know what's there. There are quite a lot of them. Maybe they are things that were present in Horizons but are not present in Odyssey. So I'm suspecting that what it is, because I mean its description is a white smoker, which is a geological feature, and all the geological features were reprogrammed for Odyssey to give more detail to the planets. So it may be that all these grey spots are things that are no longer in existence. Okay, I've not looked at the galaxy, so there seems to be a hell of a lot of them. Again, all around the most travelled areas of the galaxy, which is pretty much what you'd expect. But anyway, yeah, so that is where we're going. I just need to pick a random place on the way. There weren't any. I'll normally pick a planetary nebula. If we turn the planetary nebulas on, this does take a while because there's a lot of them. Yeah, so there was no planetary nebulas directly in the route from here to here. This was a little bit out of the way, although I don't remember seeing that many when I plotted the route yesterday. But yeah, that's what we're doing. So far, since I've arrived in Hawking's Gap, I found approximately bugger all. It was very similar to the Tempest. I've done about I'd say about 50 jumps. I found a couple of water worlds, and that was it. There was nothing else in the systems to look at. Right, let's get into the game now. I'll just check that we are actually streaming. Yeah, it looks like we're streaming. There's a bit of a delay. Right, so let's plot a route, or replot the route. Yeah, to the archived point of interest. Right, it's been a bit slow. Yeah, so there was a update 8 to Odyssey was released today. It was supposed to improve performance. I'm not sure if it's made any difference. It certainly hasn't made a difference while I'm streaming. When I get down onto planets, it's still sub 30 frames per second for a majority of the time. That's the actual system we're in at the moment. That's not what we want to do. We want to look at done it again. We we want to look at the galaxy map. Yeah, so if I turn the frame rate on, yeah, right, so we're in space, nothing in front of us at all, just the galaxy background, and we're getting 13 frames a second, so that is still pretty terrible. Part of that is due to OBS. OBS does seem to take up a lot of the graphic resources, but even with OBS turned off, for some reason my graphics card is going along at 50%, and the frame rates are extremely low. So why it's not using the full extent of my graphics card, I don't know. Right, so that's the route. So there's only 9 jumps to actually get there. So when we get there, we will plot a route for the fleet carrier, the next fleet carrier in the deep space support array.
Frameshift drive charging.
Right, so here we go.
3, 2, 1, engage. Fuel scooping.
Yeah, as always, we are looking for water worlds, ammonia worlds, and Earth-like worlds. There's 32 bodies in this system, so there's a good chance we'll find something of interest. But no, yeah. So yeah, so what we're looking for is in this region. So the bar at the bottom that's moving across. So we want things that are in the Earth-like world, ammonia world, or water world range, which is that bit, which is totally empty. If we see anything down here, we may also go and have a look at that. That will be something much smaller than the planet or an asteroid belt, and that is where I would expect to see notable stellar phenomena, which we'll also go and have a look at. Now I'm pretty sure in this sector of the galaxy there are also Guardian sites. Let's double check that. Actually, I've not checked since I've got here. But yeah, if we look at the codex to see what is available in this sector of the galaxy. Yeah, so we're in Hawkin's Gap, and right, so actually, yeah, no, it's not actually mentioning any Xeno activity. Right, it's in this sector that the Xeno activity is. Yeah, so again, that's Guardian stuff. So in this sector, if we did find anything, it would be a first, which is quite surprising. It's because there's lots in that sector. That's where a majority of the Guardian stuff is that I've been to before. And in the actually, is that all Guardian? Yeah, so that's all Guardian. In the inner spur, I imagine some of it is Fargoid. Yeah, so it's all Fargoid in there, and in this one I think it's also Guardian. Yeah, so it's all Guardian stuff in that sector as well. So I'm surprised there's nothing in this sector between the two. But okay, let's see if we can be the first. So what we're actually looking for is the organic life, which is this lot. Now these appear in space. I'm not deliberately targeting any of those to go and search for them, but if we find any, we'll go and visit those. These and these grow on planets without atmospheres. I think these grow on planets without atmospheres too. I'm not sure about those ones. I've never seen those before. And the rest of them will only be on planets with atmospheres. Not sure about these. They may grow on planets without atmospheres as well, but they do also need volcanic activity for those ones to appear. So yeah, let's go and see if we can find any of them. Yeah, so nothing in this system.
Fuel scoping.
Yeah, that frame rate's in the red again quite a lot. And again, this is just a star we're at, so there's nothing with a high polygon count. And in Horizons, I generally get 60 frames a second. In space, that's because I was locking it at an upper limit of 60 frames a second. Right, so what's that there? That could be. I think it's a rocky world, because it's right on the border between the two. But there is a slight possibility that that could be an Earth-like world. Let's see if I can find it. Right, so it's not in there. There it is. Yeah, it's just a rocky world. There's another world somewhere in here, but I suspect that's also a rocky world as well. There it is. Right, so I can tell what it is by the pattern of arrows. So we see there are 5 arrows in the pattern of a 5 on a dice along the scanner at the bottom, and there are also 5 arrows, the same format, pointing at the location of that planet as we move around it. So we know that that is what we have selected on the bottom. Again, if you look at the other ones, the arrow format varies as you move it across. But yeah, that is what we are looking for. Right, so if it was an Earth-like world, it would be 4 arrows at the bottom, or 2, then 1 at the top. And if it's a water world, then it is 2, 2, and 2. But yeah, nothing in that system.
Fuel scoping. Fuel scoping complete.
And that is a water world. So yeah, the pattern is 2, 2, 2. And let's go and I'll scan all the planets in the system. So there's no life on there, not on there, not on there. That's the water world, so that's the one we're going to go map. So there's none. There won't be any life on there, or at least not that we can detect. None on there. So just one more to go. Is it behind the star? There it is. It's a bit offline to everything else.
System scan.
None on there either. Right. So yeah. So no planets we can land on here. So we'll just go and map that water world and be on our way. Since the last stream, I did sell all my data. Now, I was very disappointed when I sold my data at the space station near the center of the galaxy because I didn't make a great deal of progress. Now, I found out when I sold the data, I think it was Sunday I sold the data. But I found out that I hadn't actually sold all of my data at the center of the galaxy. There is a bug with universal cartographics in that after you've sold one page of data, it will tell you that you have no data left to sell, and you can't see the remaining data to sell until you either go to a different page of data or close universal cartographics and go back in. So yeah, so when I sold my data at the center of the galaxy, I sold one page worth of data, which got me about 20 million, which again is next to nothing in the scheme of things, considering that was 2 weeks worth of traveling. When I sold my data on Sunday, I had 22 pages of data to sell, and I'm not quite sure how much that was, but it got me up 2 ranks in exploration, or 2 elite ranks in exploration, not just 2 ranks. So I was already at elite and about 10% above basic elite rank. If you look now, I'm now at exploration rank elite 2 and about 5% into that. So yeah, that has taken me, the 20 pages of data took me up to elite ranks, and it only goes up to 5. Yeah, so that is probably an eighth of this total trip for the data that I will be selling. Yeah, I will definitely be hitting elite 5 on exploration. Now I also sold my xenobiology data. Now I didn't sell quite as much as I sold the first lot. The first lot I sold 75 scanned plants, and now and then I sold another 60, about another 60 scanned plants, and that took me up to cataloger, which is up 1 rank, but not as far as I would have hoped, and nowhere near where I would have been if I hadn't lost all the data due to being fired on by a fleet carrier. Right, so that's this system complete. Plot the route now. We are now 6 jumps away from the archived
Frameshift drive charging.
point of interest. I wonder if all the points of interest were archived. Let's have a look at that.
4, 3, 2, 1. Engage.
Right, so let's look at planetary points of interest. Right, so there are considerably fewer planetary points of interest
Fuel scoping.
than there are archived ones, which suggests that yeah, the planetary points of interest that remain are ones that have been discovered since Odyssey. and they probably archived all the old ones
Temperature critical.
when Odyssey came out. So again, I suspect even if you're playing Horizons, they won't be there anymore. Because although Horizons doesn't have all the functionality that Odyssey has, I believe we are playing in an identical galaxy. Right, so that's what happens when you jump out between two very hot stars. You overheat a little bit. So nothing in this system we're interested in. Just make sure that's in the right place. And off to the next one.
Drive charging. Four, three, two, one. Engage. Fuel scoping. System scan complete. Fuel scoping complete. Frameshift drive charging. Four, three, two, one. Engage. Fuel scoping.
Right, so let's see what we have in the system. 40 bodies, so again, there's a pretty good chance there's going to be something of
Fuel
interest.
scoping complete.
And a water world. Yep, so let's scan the whole system. Got a couple of larger planets, gas giants, which is good because more often than not, when there is life in a system, it's on a moon of a gas giant as opposed to a planet. Right, so the first one had geology on it, but no biology. Ah, 2 biology, so we have life in this system. Let's mark that one, in case it's the only one. I've got 2 on that one as well. So that planet has, that planet has 2 moons with life on. That's nothing on there. Oh, there's another one there I missed. Is that another big one? Yep. This has got moons too. Right, something there as well. That could be the water world. It is. Right, so looks like there is another sun, two stars in this system, and this planet looks like it's in orbit around that star. So that's the gas giant. Now, it looks like it got moons around it. Nothing on there. Nothing on that one. And nothing on that one. Right, so that is an asteroid belt. And with asteroid belts, there's a lot of the single lines 111 things, but you only have to select one of them, and that will select all of them. So you don't have to go and do those individually. Although there is something else here as well. Right, so that's another planet. The big one. So again, I think this is also around that same star. Biology on there as well. So that's two large planets with biology on the moons. That's geology. Not interested in that one. Not interested in that one. Two biology on there. So that's 4 moons we're going to land on. What I'd really like to see is a moon with about 6 or 7 biology on it. When there's 2 on the moon, that's the third one there, so that's 5 planets now. When there's 2 on the moon, one of them is normally bacteria, so that's 6. Bacteria we're not interested in. I may scan it if it's easy to find, but I'm not going to go out on my way to look for it. Right, so that was another large planet, and again it's got some moons. That's 2 geology. I'm not interested in geology. 2 more geology. Nothing on there. Nothing on there. Nothing on there. Right, so I think this... Yeah, I'm not sure if these are moons or these are planets around a different star. That's another big one. Pretty good chance that the moons then. Right, so that's all the big ones found now. Still a couple more small ones to go. That's geology. Nothing. And nothing. Right. So we've got 1 water world and 5 moons. At least I think they're all moons with biology on them. Right, so that's the water world. And this will be the first 2 moons with biology on them. And the other one, I imagine it'll be these ones here. Yeah, so again, they've got atmospheres. These have got atmospheres, but you can't land on them. So yeah, that'll be those ones there. Now, are any of the other planets terraformable? Nope. All right, so yeah, it's just the water world and the 5 planets with atmospheres we can land on. So I don't know which ones of those 3 it is. So I'll scan all of those. And they're all in orbit around this planet, so they're not going to be that far from each other. But off to the water world first. Alright, so we're going to be spending quite a bit of time in this system. I didn't check to see how far away those other planets were. I imagine we're going to be here for at least an hour. Right, so somebody's just joined me. Welcome to the Tour of the Galaxy. You've just joined at a good point. I just found a system that has 5 moons with plant life on, and we're going to visit those. And the reason I stopped in this system is because we found this water world, which I'm mapping right now. So I've just fired 4 probes to map the water world. That's 1 at the front and 3 at the back, so that's the 3 at the back
Surface
hitting
scan
now.
by 50%. Surface scan
Right,
complete.
so that would have been worth about 1.8 million. Now we will go and find the plant life. So the plant life is on these 2 moons here and 3 of these 4 moons here. Let's see how far away that was. Let's have a look. They are right, so that's quite a trek to get to those 2. So that's about a 10-minute stretch just flying over there. But these shouldn't be that far away. They're only about a minute away. Yeah, so we're just trying to break out of the gravity well of the water world that we just scanned. And then we'll start building up speed rapidly to get to the moons of this gas giant. Yeah, so speed's building up now. Now at 15 times the speed of light. Although it looks like we've probably just passed another planet, which has slowed us down a little bit. So all the moons in this system have 2 forms of life on them. One of those forms of life is almost certainly going to be bacteria, and what the other one is will probably be the same on all the moons, or at least the first 2 moons will be the same, and then possibly be the same on the next 2 moons. Generally, moons around the same planet have the same forms of life on them, although there may be slight variations in colour.
Surface scan by 50%. Surface scan complete.
Right, okay, so it's the life on here is Fonticula, which is relatively common. Or at least most of these species I found have been relatively common. There's been a couple that have been a little bit rarer. So we're going to aim to find a high density patch of those somewhere on this region between
Orbital flight
dark
engaged.
and light. That way we're going to get some nice screenshot opportunities. So the high density regions are these solid colours of turquoise, and the lighter colours are less dense regions. Not the best colour combinations for a heat map, I don't think, but that's what we have. Now, is there anything that will be... Alright, let's go and land near that crater. Right, let's see if we can land on the edge of this crater. Right, so I'm seeing plenty of plant life, so it shouldn't be hard to find. Right, let's see if we can land somewhere around there.
Landing gear deployed.
Just back a little bit and level to match the ground. And we'll disembark in the SRV to go in search for the plant life, although we've landed right next to one, so we're not going to have to go too far to find that one. Right, frame rate down to 6 frames a second for a second there.
Low gravity warning.
That is, again, that's really bad. It's really time that Elite got their act together with this. How on earth they can get it to work on a console, I don't know. Right, so right, so these look like the amethyst versions of this particular type. We're just disembarking. I've got a temporary rise in frame rate while it's... Right, so it's saying it's doing 10 frames a second. That's terrible. 7 now. Right. I think I'm going to take a screenshot from the other side there to get that nice transparent view. Yeah, these are the amethyst ones. All right, so let's kneel down. I can't remember if they said the emojis were available in this update. I'll have a look to see if that's there in a second. Right, so I'm now going to take a screenshot. And we'll get behind them, get that nice glass, transparent glass look. Right, okay, let's also try a bit of depth of field. Right, so I can blur background and then focus in. Right, so that's the front of the plant in focus. Try and get it into about the middle. Yeah, there we go. Right, okay. Print screen there. Right, so now saving the screenshot. I don't use the inbuilt screenshot tool, the F10 key in Elite, because that will save it as a BMP, and I'll have to convert it later to a web format to upload. So I might as well just save it in a web format in the first place. Right, so I'm going to get in the name of the planet now. So I'll save the screenshot with the name of the planet. Right, so that is the screenshot saved. I now got to go and drive around and find 3 more lots of this. Right, before I do that, let's have a look at the controls to see if there's anything for emojis and poses. So that should be in options there, controls, on foot. Yep, on foot emotes. Right, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 of those. I think I shall apply those to the number keys on the keyboard. Right, apply that. Back to the game. Yep. So they were introduced today. There is an update today. So let's actually have a look to see what they do. So go back to the camera suite again. Right, okay. Right, so they don't appear to work in the camera suite. Right, so we can see that they work. I don't know what that one was. Oh, that one's go. Right, so that's point. So I'm doing this entirely on what the shadow's doing. That was a wave. So point, wave, thumbs up. Okay. No. Go. Right. No, that's no. All right. So 5 is go. 6. Oh, 6 is stop. 7 is clap, and 8 is salute. So 8 is the 07 button. Right. Now, why? Ah, right. Okay. I seem to have. Right. I seem to have the number keys bound to different camera views in the camera suite. So let's go back to the options, and I think the camera suite's under general controls. Camera suite. Yeah. So right, they're all bound to that. So let's let's put those on the control version of that. So that's number 1. Let's put control 1 in there. 2, control 3. Oh, control 3. Control 4. Control 5. Control 6. Oh, no, it's just control. No, it's not right. Control 6. Control 7. Control 8. And control 9. Right, so so that's, now we just escape those, get rid of the number ones. Again, I don't really need to be able to select the cameras from the number because I've got that on a joystick button to select the next one. Right, okay. So I've got 2 camera back there. Right, let's put that one on number control 0 as well. Control 0. Right, I don't know why it's got 2 control back, but all right, let's give that another go. Right, so let's see. Ah, yeah, there we go. Right. Thumbs up. No. Go. Stop. Clap. And the important one, 07. Right. I'm going to use that in a screenshot, but not here because I quite like that one we just did. But my next screenshot, I will be using the emojis. Right, okay, back into the SRV. Right, so we're going to look for. We're on the edge of the crater. Let's go down into the crater. Right, that's not far enough away.
Landing gear retracted. Frameshift drive charging. 4, 3, 2, 1. Engage.
So just realised there I didn't have the mic turned on for most of that planet. Yes, so we've got the emojis working in the camera suite, but they don't seem to work when you are sat in a seat, so they only work when you're walking about. We are now going to the next moon to scan whatever's life is on there. I suspect it will be the same or very similar to the moon we've just left. Right, so coming to the second moon with life on in this system. Just fire a couple of probes into it so we know whereabouts on the planet the life is and what type of life it is.
Surface scan by 50%. Surface scan complete.
Yeah, so it's Fonticula again, so same as the last planet, which is what I expected. Again, we will go for somewhere in the region between dawn and dusk.
Orbital flight engaged.
Dawn or dusk, I should say, because I don't know which one it is until you've been there for a while. Alright, so it looks like pretty much anywhere will be a good landing point. It's all the solid turquoise colour. Alright, so it's a very low G planet, 0.05 G, or moon I should say.
Landing gear deployed.
Right, so there's some plants there right in front of us. I'm going to try and find somewhere nice to get a screenshot with the new emojis or emotes. And right.
Low gravity warning.
Right then, let's park the SRV behind these and shine the headlights straight through to add to this sunlight. Right, disembark. Alright, let's see how easy it is to get a screenshot with an emoji. Try and get 1 foot on that rock. Right, that will do. And now control the camera. Right, can we get... Yes, we can. Right, so this is going to be timed. Right, so that looks like it probably timed okay. So I'll take a screenshot of that now. And I've got to save that. Get the name of this planet. Right, so that is now saved. So, oh, I don't know what we saw then. But now we've got to go and drive around, find 2 more lots of plants. I did scan them, didn't I? No, I didn't. Right, so I've got to go at least 300 meters to find another lot. Oh, there's some over there. Right, I imagine those close ones are a little bit too close. Right, so there's an entire forest of them over there. Alright, so yeah, these are exactly the same as the last moon we were on, the amethyst variety. I haven't got a price for these, but I think they are worth 63,000. So they're one of the easier ones to find on the planet, and it's actually 500 meters you have to go to find a different subspecies or different variety. I imagine these will be 500 meters.
Handbrake is on.
So that should be complete now. Yep. So back to the ship, and then we've got a good 10-minute flight to get to the second star and the moons of the gas giant there. Right, so something to test on the next planet is when you point at something, it is supposed to tag that object so that others can see what it is you're pointing at. So I might have to test if that works. Right. So as normal, I've parked right over a mound or something, which is making it hard for me to stop in the right place to board the ship. No luck there. Right, so it's not letting me board the ship. Let's look directly up. Right, so... Right, that's looking directly up, so that should be directly under there. Yeah, no, it's not letting me on the ship. I'm going to have to dismiss the ship
Ship dismissed.
and recall it. Hopefully it will land somewhere where it hasn't got a lump underneath it. Right. While the ship is going away, let's try disembarking and pointing at something. See if it actually does tag it. Again, it may only work if you're teamed up with somebody. Right. So which was point? Clap. 8 was salute. 4 was wave. 5 was go. 6 was stop. 1, right. So right. So it there is a marker on the ground there where I just pointed to. Right. So that could be really useful. Oh, it doesn't last for very long. Just tell you how far away things are though, which is useful. So how long does it last for? Right, so I'm going to click it at exactly. So yeah, it lasts for 10 seconds. So that's good. Right, let's see what happens if we do that with a moving target. So if we recall the ship now. Recall ship. I've gone away, I don't need that. So now, yeah, I've got to wait for the ship and then I'll try and point at it. So there it is. Alright, so it looks like it has a limit of 200 meters, but the target is moving. It's also trying to land right on top of the SRV, which is very clever. Yeah, that is useful. Right, so it's 200 meters on a ship. Right. That's more than 200 meters. Right, let me go and jump on top of the ship. See if I can see some more than 200 meters away. Right then, so what can we point at? So 100 meters. This is also, yeah, this could be really useful for finding plants. If you can see a plant in the distance and you don't know how far away it is, You know you've got to go a certain distance. So I can see those plants over there. And it doesn't work that far. Right, so it looks like it has a limit of 300 meters. $280. Let's get a little bit higher up. Well, we're actually on a crater there. Alright, let's try that again. See if we can get... 249, 290. Yeah, it looks like it's got a limit of 300 meters. 296. Yeah, it looks like it's a limit of 300 meters. But yeah, that is a useful tool. Not as useful as it could be, but still useful. Right, let's board the ship. Oh, I just realised that screenshot I took earlier. I forgot to turn the controls off. So let's go back and redo that.
Ship dismissed.
Oh, I just told the ship to leave again. Right, so where were those? There they were. Right, so I parked the SRV on the far side. So the sun's setting a bit now. Alright. Alright, let's put the lights on full. Disembark. Right, so that's about where we were stood before. I think this is probably a bit closer actually. Right, so go back to the camera suite. Go down a little bit. To look up. Turn off the frame rate. Right. And salute. Right, let's try and get that a little bit lower so we can see the salute. Not quick enough there. Right. So it got that without the text. And save that. Right then. Alright, we'll recall the ship. There we go. Oh, right, hopefully that's recalling the ship. Back to the SRV. Yeah, that's the ship. So far the ship has done a pretty good job of not landing on top of me and crushing me. When it comes down, when you recall it, I suspect that's probably more luck than judgment. Right, now for the 10-minute flight to the far side of this solar system.
Power plant capacity exceeded. Landing gear retracted.
We're obscured, so yeah, that's why we can't head off.
3, 2, 1. Engage.
Right, so yeah, we're looking at going to be going to 3 of these planets. Right, don't know why the mouse is doing that. Alright, it's better. So let's plot a route to the first one and we'll work our way down. Don't know which 3 it is that have life on them. And just need to get a little bit more altitude before we turn to face it. That should be enough. Yeah, right, so that is 10,000 light seconds. That's going to take about 10 minutes to get to. So while we're on our way over there, I shall put the news on to see what's been happening.
Alliance and Marlinists address refugee crisis. The Marlinist colonies have offered to provide help for political refugees who sought sanctuary in Alliance space. In 3306, the Empire's security forces began arresting followers of Marlinism, suspecting them of being linked to the NMLA. Many pro-Republican Imperial citizens fled to the Federation, but some set course for the Alliance instead. The situation has been highlighted by Prime Consul Coyote Tau of the Marlinist Consulate. Having made a desperate journey for survival, over 1 million Marlinists are now dispersed across Alliance territory. Most are clustered in small groups, lacking basic supplies and facing extreme deprivation. Some Alliance systems have offered citizenship, but others are attempting to expel them as illegal immigrants. The Empire wishes to repatriate these people, which means harsh interrogation for some and lifelong persecution for others. I hope to negotiate with the Alliance to arrange an alternative transportation to the Marlinist colonies. There they will be welcomed into the democratic society established by their brethren. Ambassador Elijah Beck, head of the Alliance Office of Diplomatic Relations, has agreed to meet with Prime Consul Tao to examine solutions. The Imperial Diplomatic Corps officially refused an invitation to join this discussion. Senators offer to protect Hadrian Duval. The recent NMLA attack in the Parisa system has encouraged the Imperial Senate to reach out to Imperator Hadrian Duval. An official pronouncement was made by Senator Caspian Leopold. A majority of us believe that preserving the Duval bloodline is paramount for the future of the Empire. Hadrian Duval is not officially a member of the Imperial family, but he is the grandson of Emperor Hengist, meaning his as yet unborn child is also of royal lineage. The NMLA has already murdered many Duvals, including Prince Harold. Indeed, Hadrian himself barely survived an assassination attempt last year. It's clear that the Empire can provide greater security than he currently has, and it is our duty to do so. Therefore, we propose making both Hadrian and Lady Astrid wards of the Senate. They will be placed under the highest level of protection, at least until this grave threat has abated. Imperator Hadrian Duval is currently holding discussions with a delegation from the Senate. Political observers believe that their proposal may be conditional on him severing ties with Nova Imperium, an isolationist organization that was once outlawed in the Empire. Independent news feeds have speculated that since the NMLA's terror campaign began, Emperor Arisa Lavigny Duval has been under similar senatorial protection and performing her duties from a secure location. Scrivener's clan resists Orion University. The spacefaring tribe that lives aboard an ancient dredger has refused to allow Orion University to take possession of the vessel. Vox Galactica published an eyewitness account by freelance reporter Casey Kilpatrick from the Udshost PCC C290 system. Once the Scrivener's clan was found, it wasn't long before Orion University arrived. Their megaship, Scientia Eterna, remotely disabled the dredger's hyperdrive using a series of override codes. These had been unearthed from the university's archives, along with evidence that the ship, commissioned in 3088 as Dredger J403, legally belongs to them. Despite being unable to escape, the Scriveners had made a stand. All requests to communicate were roundly ignored. I've watched several craft try to dock with the dredger, only to be met with sealed airlocks and an electrified hull. It's clear that these people are unwilling to give up their homes simply because of centuries-old legislation. But it's also apparent that Orion University is interested in more than just reclaiming lost property. The Scriveners possess something that they refer to as a knowledge core, which contains everything that this scholarly society has learned during its long voyage. What discoveries might this database contain? And how far will the university go to get their hands on it? Torval Mining Limited requests resources. Pilots Federation alert. Senator Zemina Torval's new corporation requires deliveries of commodities to its megaship in the EGM 559 system. Constantia Torval, the senator's daughter and operations director of the company, provided details of the initiative. Now that we are a fully independent business, additional resources are urgently needed to continue providing services to the Empire. My goal is to ensure that the Torval name remains synonymous with efficiency and dedication. Shipments of geological equipment, microbial furnaces and mineral extractors can be delivered to the megaship Pride of Bitterwood in the EGM 559 system. From there, they will be transferred to our headquarters at Torval Orbital in LTT 198. The Pride of Bitterwood is part of a corporate fleet recently purchased by Torval Mining Limited. Most are currently in the LTT 198 system, being outfitted for mining and transport operations. Business analysts believe that these megaships were funded by Zemina Torval after selling the majority of her shares in Mastopoulos Mining. Federal agents crush Jupiter Division extremists. A pro-corporatist group planning a series of terror attacks has been shut down by the Federal Intelligence Agency. An update on the operation was delivered by Deputy Director Bethany Blake, who who runs the Proactive Detection Bureau. Special forces have now arrested the organizers of the underground organization called Jupiter's Wrath. This was a collection of citizens radicalized by Jupiter Rochester into believing that they could replace democratically elected leaders with corporate overlords. This successful operation was only possible thanks to information provided by the PDB. Without this surveillance network, we would be entirely unaware of Jupiter's wrath, and many leading politicians may have lost their lives. Our analysts are now updating the PDB's algorithms to highlight citizens who are at risk of radicalization. We will prevent domestic terrorism by identifying those being corrupted by hostile ideologies. In response, Congressman Bai Zheng was quoted in the Federal Times. This is an unnerving development in the PDB's evolution. It's also what many of us in Congress feared. We are not targeting people who have committed a crime, but people whose personal opinions are unpalatable to the government. Joker's deck hunts the winking cat. Francesca Wolf of the Wall Glass Investigations Agency has sent a final report from her infiltration of the secretive gambling circle. The bad news is that Joker's deck security caught up with me.
Right, so we're getting pretty close now. We've actually listened to that news in the last stream, so it was only the first news story there that was new. So it's 4,000 light seconds to go, and we're travelling at 100 times the speed of light, so it's not going to take us that long to get there. Yeah, so we'll work our way out from the moons, starting with the one closest to the planet. 3 of them have got biological life on, or at least I suspect 3 of them have got biological life on. I didn't keep a track of the planet numbers when we were scanning the system, but there are 4 moons there, all with atmospheres that we can land on, and I counted at least 3 of them with 2 forms of biological life on them. May actually be all 4. Let's find out. Alright, so we're now 7 seconds away from getting there, so we have to slow down. Yeah, so when the bottom number in the middle of the screen is down to 7, that means if you slow down to 75% throttle, you won't overshoot when you get there. If you don't, then you will overshoot. And the 7 seconds remaining is assuming that you aren't decelerating. So as we are decelerating, then we will stop when we get there. And that should remain at a constant 7 seconds until we get pretty close. Right, so we're getting close enough almost now to scan the planet or moon. So we can scan the moon now. So let's see if this is one of the ones with life on. And turn my frame rate back on. 30 frames a second.
Surface scan by 50%.
Yep, so this does have life, and it's fonticular again. So yeah, so pretty much expected it to be the same type. Right, let's now fly over to the region where there is sunlight. Oh, it's a little bit too fast. We don't want to
Orbital flight engaged.
drop out at that speed. Right, that's more like it. Right, so yeah, pretty much anywhere that isn't high, we should be okay. Alright, that's a nice ridge there next to that crater. Let's go and land over there. As this planet's got a few canyons going on.
Landing gear deployed.
Right. I've not actually seen any life yet. Ah, yeah, there's some down there. So, yeah, we should be okay. So, looking at the radar at the bottom, we're waiting till there is a blue spot underneath us. That will happen when there's flat land big enough to land on. We did have it pop up temporarily there. Right, there we go. Nice big area. Now we need to tilt the ship so that the ship turns blue, and then we go straight down. Very carefully landing. So yeah, that was a perfect landing. It didn't damage the shields at all. Now we will disembark. Actually, no, I should not have disembarked. I should have disembarked in the SRV. So let's get back in and try that again.
Warning. Dangerously.
Right, let's try that again. Right, so this time we will get out in the SRV. SRV is a surface reconnaissance vehicle for anybody who doesn't know what an SRV is. Which is basically an 8-wheel buggy with jetpacks on it, so you can actually hover. So we're not stuck on the ground. So yeah, there's the ship we were just flying in. And alright, let's go to some of these planets. Oh, we've got a nice icy world with cracked ice on the ground. Right, I'm going to try and get that screenshot I tried to do on the last planet. Without much luck because it got dark. Right, so we're going to disembark now. First we're going to scan the plant, see what type of plant it is. I suspect it is more amethyst, and the what was it? Campestris amethyst.
Warning. Dangerously low temperature detected.
Yeah, it is. It's exactly the same. Alright, so these come in 3 varieties that I found so far. Amethyst, Emerald and Mauve. Alright, so I shall go and stand somewhere around here. I haven't got a rock to put my foot on this time. Right, see what the emojis do when you're actually carrying something. You just put the thing down basically and then pick it up again. Does that... So can we point when we've got a gun? No, the gun... Right. Right, so to the camera suite. Let's try that again. Right, I'm crouching. Don't know why I'm crouching. Oh, I'm not crouching. Right, why am I standing like that? Ah, is it because I last had a gun? Oh, right. So normally he just stands up straight. Right, I haven't got no idea why he's crouching like that. I mean, that is the full crouch. He looks like he's in a combat position. Oh, that looks a little bit sarcastic when you're crouching. Right. Right, let's... Yeah, still crouching. Right, let's go back into that hole and... Actually, let's just try and get back in the SRV and get out again to see if that will cure it. I think it may be because I picked up a gun. Alright, so if you are new today and you haven't seen Elite before, there has been an update today which has supposedly been added performance improvements, but as you can see there from my frame rate, I'm still getting very low frames. It's not quite as bad as it seems there. It's partly that low because I'm running OBS as well, which does it slow it down. Right, let's go to the camera suite now and see if I am... Right, so I'm standing up straight, so that's good. Right, so it must go into the crouching thing when you pick up a weapon. Right, so what I want to do, I'll turn the frame rate off as well. To get a screenshot of me saluting. Should we get close, real close up? Let's see how. Right. Go for a screenshot of that then. Right, so yeah, I'm going to save that now with the name of the planet that we're on, or moon in this case. And let's find out what the name of that planet is. Yeah, so the new emojis that have, or emotion that you can do, you can bind them to your keyboard. There is point. Point also puts a target on the thing you're pointing at, which means that other people can see what you're pointing at. It also tells you how far away it is, which can be quite useful if you're just about to throw a grenade at it or something like that. Right, so I've just copied the name and I'm going to save the name of the screenshot, or save the screenshot with the name of the planet. Yeah, well, let's just go back to the camera suite for a second and have another quick look at the emotes. And let's do it this time so that I'm actually facing the light, so I'm just not in silhouette. Right. I'd love to know why my glasses keep disappearing on there. I should be wearing shades. Right, so these are the emotes. So we have point. Now, again, we're in camera suite, so I can't actually point at anything. And we have wave, thumbs up. What's the next one? No, go, stop, clap. Does seem a little bit like a slow clap, and of course salute. So when we are not in the camera suite, we can look at something, click on the point button, and it will put a marker on it for 10 seconds. And that marker has a distance to it. So again, if you want to throw a grenade at something, you can mark it. What's my throw grenade button? I can't remember now. And then totally overshoot by a long way. Yeah, and again, when you point at something, if you're in a team with somebody, they will be able to see the thing that's highlighted as well. So that gives you a good way of targeting enemies without having to actually open fire on them. So that is something that can be quite useful. The range on the point is about 300 meters. The first thing I managed to point at was 296 meters away, so I'm guessing it's 300 meters. It doesn't seem to allow you to point at things further away, which could be useful if you are doing what we're doing now. So we're exploring and I'm searching for plants, and I know that I have to go at least 500 meters to be able to scan the next lot of plants, and that plant there is not 500 meters away. Right, so let's go and find some. So yeah, we're not short of plants. There's quite a lot around here, and there's an entire forest over there by the looks of it. But this should do. Oh, very bouncy landing. What's the gravity on this planet? 0.1 g.
Warning. Dangerously low temperature detected.
Yeah, so you have to scan three of the same type of plant a certain distance apart. With this type of plant, that distance is 500 meters. The distance for the different types of plant ranges from 100 meters to 800 meters. Right, so now I shall go 500 meters, roughly circling the ship. So that way I'm not too far away from the ship when I finish the scanning. Looks like I've picked a direction with very few plants. There's some over there. Yeah, so in the SRV you can't fly as such. What you can do is jump. And if you're on a very low planet such as this, you can make that jump last for a long time. Yeah, on a high G planet you can only barely get off the ground. But on a low G planet, we're on 0.9 G, 0.09 G. You can actually fly for quite a long way, particularly if you get a bit of a jump when you set off. So if you're going quite fast and you find a nice ramp to give you a bit of proportion into the air, you can use that to fly a very long way, and you can just use the jets or rockets, jets, I don't know what these are, jets or rockets, these things here on the sides and also in the wheels. So at the moment they're pointing upwards to give us a little bit more traction, but when we're actually in the air and flying, they turn around and point downwards and give us a little bit more control. Yep, so back to the ship now. Right, let's have a look at the SRV from the outside while we drive back, because I've never actually looked at the wheels while we are flying from the outside. Let's get a nice close view. Right, so see at the moment the jets are pointing upwards. So when we start flying, yeah, they turn to point downwards. And again, if you tilt yourself forwards, the upwards force gets vectored behind you a little bit, which pushes you in the direction you want to go. So I can choose the pitch of the. Oh, it's really hard to fly when you're not actually inside it. I can choose the pitch and the yaw. The pitch and the roll of the SRV, but I can't control the yaw while I'm flying. Right, let's come out of the camera suite now. So it looks like I've possibly parked on another rock, which always makes it fun to try and get in and out. Oh no, it looks like we're right next to a rock, so I should be okay. Right, so now we're off to the next moon. Let's take off first and get a bit of altitude. We can search for the moon while we're climbing.
Capacity exceeded. Landing gear retracted. Frameshift drive charging. 4, 3, 2, 1. Engage.
Right, so while we're making some altitude, we'll select the next moon to go and visit. Right, so again, the blue halo around the planet is an atmosphere, and the blue arc means we can land on it. So these ones we can land on, but they don't have atmospheres. These two have atmospheres, but we can't land on them. And so the ones with life are the ones that you can land on with atmospheres. So that's why we're looking at those. There are some planets that don't have an atmosphere that do have life on them. Those planets are mainly the ones that had life on before before Odyssey came out. So they're the ones from Horizons that had life on. And it's different. It's different forms of life exist on planets that don't have atmospheres. Right, so that shouldn't take us too long to get there. It's only 13 light seconds away. Right, so in terms of the values of the different types of plants, these ones that we've just found are amongst the lowest. They're only worth 63,000. Values range between, actually I think 63 is the actual lowest. Yeah, they range from 63. Most of them are in the sort of 100,000 range. But I'm not 100% sure how accurate these are because I've only got limited numbers to go on for the time being. But the most expensive single plant I've found so far has been 400,000. If you're the first person to discover the plant on that planet, that is doubled. So that would be 800,000. Right, let's scan this planet.
Surface scan by 50%. Surface scan.
Alright, so we've got bacterium and yeah, so same as before. Again, they're pretty prevalent all over the planet. Doesn't really matter where we land. Some of the rarer plants you find will only appear on in sort of holes in the ground, or near very steep valleys. Yeah, so this is looking like another icy planet. Yeah, so we just dropped out of cruise there. Right, it doesn't look terribly flat. So finding somewhere to land may be a little bit trickier. Alright. Yeah, so we've got a few big holes there. Right, that looks like a plane we can land on. Let's land on that bit there. Right, so we're deploying landing gear.
Landing gear deployed.
Right, so I can see plants in front of us, so we're not going to have to go far to find those. Right, we've got the blue spot. Let's tilt the ship to match it. Another perfect landing. And deploy the SRV.
No gravity warning.
Alright then. I think I'm going to do the screenshot for this planet from the front of the ship. So let's drive over to... Oh, I didn't mention when we landed last time, the jets in the SRV don't work when you're close to the ship because they pack away ready for docking, and that's automatic. Right, that's far enough I think. I'm going to go back to the ship now, walking, and try another screenshot using the emojis. Let's see if we can do a pointing one this time.
Warning. Dangerously low temperature detected.
Actually, I was going to go to the ship. There's a nice big rock here to stand on. Right. How long does a point last for? Not very long. Right, let's see what we can do with a point. Right, actually no, I want to be... yeah. Oh, that is quite good. I quite like that. Right, what happens to a point now? Does it go to the same place I pointed to before? Yeah, let's get that. Alright, it's really annoying that I have to come out of the camera suite to be able to save the screen shot. I think maybe having OBS running and the screenshot system in Elite at the same time could be what's causing the issue, having lots of things trying to capture the screen at once. At least when you press print screen, it's using inbuilt system tools, so it's quite robust. Right, so get the name of the planet again. And alright, so that is now saved. Oh, got that weird thing when I come out of the camera suite again where everything goes all plasma-y. Yeah, also have a jetpack on the my person, so I can fly a little bit. Again, it depends on the gravity on the planet. This is 0.1 G. And again, it's the Artemis suit. There are 3 different types of suits. The Artemis suit is the one that has the longest flying range. So this looks like amethyst again, and it is. Where we go? Right, I'm not sure how much longer I'm going to be streaming for. I suspect it's not going to be very long, but we'll keep going until I have to go. Yep, so drive around, find 3 more of those. Flying helps if you've got all pips to engines, or 4 pips to engines. That means I can fly a little bit longer. I'm not sure if I've gone far enough to scan another one just yet. These ones here should be far enough though. Right, so that should be the second of 3 samples. Turn night vision on a little bit. Even when it's not dark, night vision can help you find smaller plants. Right, so there's some down there. Alright, so we can see the plane of the galaxy in the distance there. We're actually heading away from the centre of the galaxy at the moment, but we're doing it in the slowest possible way by spiralling outwards. We're probably about a third of the way from the centre of the galaxy to the tip of the spiral arm. I think this is the first planet in this sector that I found with life in it so far, other than water worlds. But the next 2 sectors of galaxy after this, I'm expecting there to be a lot of life there. Last time I did a tour of the galaxy, there was a lot of notable stellar phenomenon. In fact, pretty much every system I went to that had a water world had notable stellar phenomenon in there as well. And I'm hoping that will also apply to life on planets. Right, okay, back onto the ship.
Power plant capacity exceeded. Cannot comply. Landing gear retracted. Frameshift drive charging.
So while we're getting a bit of altitude, we'll again plot a route to the next moon.
Engage.
But unfortunately you won't get to see that because I'm going to end the stream now. Yeah, so thank you everybody for watching. I'm going to have to go now. I imagine the next 2 moons will be very similar to the last 4 that we looked at, so I don't think you're going to be missing very much. I'm going to try and do a raid. I suspect there will be other people streaming around now as well. So yeah, so thanks everybody for watching, and bye bye, and let me see if I can find somebody to send you to in a raid. Right, so we've got Malik VR, he's streaming Final Fantasy, or Commander Fembot, but she's streaming Animal Crossing. So I'm going to guess what you would prefer and send you off to see Malik VR. Alright, so starting the raid now. So thanks everybody for joining us, and please join me again next time I'm streaming.